President Donald Trump, a figure whose public persona often projected an image of unwavering strength and decisive action, sat not behind his imposing desk, but in a plush armchair, leaning forward with an uncharacteristic gentleness. Across from him, perched on the edge of a larger chair, sat Hope. Hope was a wisp of a girl, barely reaching the president's knee if she were standing. Her dress, though clean and neatly pressed, showed signs of wear. Her small hands, calloused from helping her mother in their meager garden, nervously twisted the ear of a well-loved teddy bear whose fur was matted in places from years of comforting embraces. But it was her eyes that held the most profound story. They were large and dark, pools reflecting a depth of understanding that seemed far too mature for her 8 years. She had journeyed from Havenwood, Alabama, a place most maps barely acknowledged, a community where the echoes of a once thriving past now mingled with the quiet desperation of the present. The journey to this iconic room hadn't been paved with privilege or the influence of powerful connections. It was a path forged by the sheer audacity of hope, manifested in a single carefully folded piece of notebook paper that had somehow navigated the labyrinthine corridors of power and landed on the president's desk. The letter, written in the looping, uneven script of a child just learning to master her letters, spoke not of grand political ideologies or complex economic theories. It spoke of a leaky roof at the only school in town, where rainwater often interrupted lessons. It spoke of outdated textbooks with pages missing, and of teachers who worked tirelessly despite dwindling resources and the gnawing worry in their eyes. It spoke of families struggling to make ends meet, of fathers and mothers working multiple low-wage jobs, their exhaustion etched onto their faces. But amidst the descriptions of hardship, a powerful undercurrent of resilience flowed through Hope's words. She wrote of the strong sense of community, where neighbors helped neighbors, sharing what little they had. She wrote of her mother's unwavering optimism, her belief that things could and would get better. And most poignantly, she wrote of her own dreams, dreams that seemed impossibly large against the backdrop of her reality. President Trump, a man accustomed to receiving countless letters filled with demands, complaints, and pronouncements, was struck by the simple, unvarnished truth in Hope's message. There was no agenda, no political maneuvering, just the pure, heartfelt plea of a child who wanted to see her community thrive. Intrigued and perhaps unexpectedly moved, he had extended the invitation. Now face to face, Hope's voice, though initially small and hesitant, gained strength as she began to share her story. She didn't recite statistics or quote news articles. Instead, she brought Havenwood to life with vivid, childlike descriptions. She spoke of the joy of playing tag in the dusty schoolyard, even when the sun beat down relentlessly. She described the excitement of the annual town picnic, the one day of the year when everyone seemed to forget their troubles for a while. She recounted the story of her best friend, Samuel, a bright and inquisitive boy whose family had been forced to leave Havenwood when the local mill, the town's primary source of employment, finally closed its doors. Hope's voice cracked slightly as she described their tearful goodbye, a moment that had etched itself onto her young heart. "He wanted to be an astronaut," she said, her eyes glistening. "But now he's gone to a place I don't even know." She spoke of her own aspiration to become a doctor, a dream born from seeing the lack of adequate health care in her community. She had witnessed firsthand the struggles of her elderly neighbor, Mr. Abernathy, who often had to travel miles to the nearest clinic, a journey that was both physically and financially draining. "I want to help people in Havenwood," she declared, her small chin lifting with determination. "I want to make them feel better." As Hope continued, her words painted a powerful portrait of a community clinging to hope in the face of adversity. She spoke of the unwavering dedication of her teachers, who often dipped into their own meager salaries to buy school supplies for their students. She described the ingenuity of the townspeople, who found creative ways to make the most of what little they had. President Trump, who had been leaning back in his chair, his usual restless energy momentarily stilled, now leaned forward, his gaze fixed on Hope. He listened intently, his expression softening as the weight of her words settled upon him. He had met with world leaders, titans of industry and celebrities, but there was something profoundly different about this encounter. There was an undeniable purity in Hope's voice, a raw honesty that cut through the layers of political rhetoric and societal complexities. Then, as Hope recounted a particularly poignant anecdote about her mother working late into the night, mending clothes by the dim light of a single bulb to save money, a visible shift occurred in the president's demeanor. His brow furrowed, and his lips tightened slightly. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a crisp white handkerchief. A single tear escaped his eye, tracing a slow path down his cheek, a stark testament to the emotional impact of Hope's simple yet powerful story. Another tear followed, and then another. The usually bustling Oval Office fell into a profound silence, broken only by Hope's soft voice and the almost imperceptible sound of the president's quiet emotion. In that moment, the weight of the world seemed to lift, replaced by a shared human connection, a recognition of the fundamental dignity and resilience of a little girl who had faced more hardship in her 8 years than most people face in a lifetime. Hope's story, however, was far from over. The image of the president, a man known for his often unflinching public persona, shedding tears while listening to a young black girl's heartfelt plea, became a powerful symbol, sparking a national conversation about poverty, inequality, and the importance of investing in underserved communities. News outlets across the globe carried the story, the image of the unlikely pair, the powerful leader and the small child, resonating deeply with people from all walks of life. Donations poured into Havenwood from across the country and beyond. Individuals, moved by Hope's story, sent letters of encouragement, school supplies, and financial contributions. The dilapidated school received a significant influx of funding, allowing for much-needed repairs and the purchase of new textbooks and equipment. New programs were established to support families in need, and opportunities that once seemed distant began to materialize. But the true impact of Hope's visit went far beyond the tangible improvements in her community. Her courage inspired countless others to share their own stories, to advocate for change, and to believe in the power of a single voice to make a difference. Children across the nation, seeing Hope's example, began to understand that even the smallest among them could have a profound impact on the world. What happened next? Hope, with the support of her community and the opportunities that arose, excelled in her studies. She never forgot her dream of becoming a doctor and years later returned to Havenwood to open a clinic, providing much-needed health care to the people she loved. Samuel, who had moved away, reconnected with Hope and eventually pursued his dream of working in the space program. The town of Havenwood, once struggling, experienced a revitalization, a testament to the power of hope and the ripple effect of one little girl's courage. The story of the black little girl who made President Trump shed tears is a reminder that humanity transcends political divides and that the most powerful stories are often the simplest and most heartfelt. It's a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the extraordinary impact that can be made when we truly listen to one another, especially to the voices of those who are often overlooked. Don't let Hope's story fade away. Her journey, her courage, and the change she inspired deserve to be remembered and shared. Seek out the full story, delve deeper into the impact her visit had on Havenwood, and discover the lasting legacy of that unexpected encounter in the Oval Office. Let her story inspire you to find your own voice, to advocate for the change you wish to see in the world, and to never underestimate the power of hope, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges. Share this story and help us keep the spirit of hope alive, reminding us all that even the smallest among us can move mountains and touch the hearts of the most powerful.